Well, Bofors loses out. Army decides to rework new Taut gun deal. Bofors was front-runner in the $1 billion deal after 3 years trials. Bofors 155mm Taut gun competed against Israeli rival and Defense Minister Antony has said that Army is not satisfied with the guns. Trials have not been successful. All right, our defense correspondent Shiv Arur now joins us from the capital. Shiv, first up, tell us, does this mean an end to Bofors, an end of road for Bofors in India?
Not quite, Ruchika, even though this is definitely a huge blow for Bofors. It has spent the last few years trying to reinvent its reputation. I think it's fair and it's important to mention here that Bofors is no longer owned by the same company that was at the helm of the company when the Bofors scandal broke in the 1980s. It is owned by a large British corporation called BAE Systems now. But Bofors has spent the last 4 years for one of India's largest ever gun deals. And in the last 4 years, it was, Ruchika, a very unprecedented sort of trial process because there were 4 rounds of trials. In gun contracts, the Army usually tries guns a maximum of twice, maybe thrice in a very, very rare case scenario. They were tested 4 times. That's probably just an indication not just of the technology, but I think the political flavor of Bofors, the political importance that Bofors still holds in India. And now there were rumors in the last few months that this deal, Bofors, you must remember, was a complete front runner. They were expecting to win this deal. The Army did say, in fact, that it preferred the Bofors gun to its nearest rival, which was an Israeli Saltum 155mm towed artillery gun. But now the defense minister has said today it should come as a shock to Bofors in that sense, that the entire process is going to be completely reworked. What this means is another few years of delay.
Right, like you just mentioned, Shiv, that the Army felt that they did prefer Bofors to the Israeli rival that we are talking about. Then what actually went wrong? What is the Army saying?
Well, the Army is not really allowed to talk about these things, Ruchika, which is why it was the defense minister who spoke out today. But from what we're hearing from the defense ministry, there were problems with both the Israeli gun and the Bofors gun throughout the round of trials. These things happen in weapons trials. At the end of the day, it's just a question of which one performed better than the other despite its problems. And what the Army definitely says, they're not allowed to say this on the record, but people off the record talking to us have said consistently in the last few months, last year in fact, that the Bofors gun did perform consistently better than the Israeli gun. But having said that, I think the politics of defense deals, all defense deals are ultimately political, have to be seen in the right perspective. We have a UPA government in power right now. Israel is a new, extremely close ally, and that could be an element in this entire equation.
Right, and very briefly also tell us, Shiv, how desperately is the Indian Army in need of these 155mm guns?
Question, Ruchika. The thing is, the Army hasn't actually bought artillery guns since the Bofors scandal broke in 2006. That's 20 years ago. So you can imagine, and a large part of our Army is deployed in high altitudes in the mountains in Kashmir and the Northeast, and towed artillery guns are quite simply the only really mode of close-range weapons that can be deployed in these areas, and we still haven't actually gotten those weapons in the last 20 years, principally because of the Bofors scandal.
Right, thanks, Shiv, for joining us for now. So Bofors, which was the front runner in the $1 billion deal, has lost out to its Israeli rival. So a blow there for Bofors. On to some other news now.